with another transfer window come and gone, this one is full of transfers between clubs in the Premier League and European quality players coming into the Premier League and just showing what they can do in a different league. In this video, I'm just going to be ranking them, going through each team's transfers, ins and outs. Most of them, there are a few other, obviously, overlays, because outs might be another team ins. So we'll do a brief kind of talk about with both. Anyway, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and do like the video if you do enjoy my lovely face and the presence I, bring to YouTube. Anyway, let's get into it. We're going to start off with Arsenal. Their ins have been, the likes of Raheem Sterling on loan, Neto on loan, Michael Merino for £28 million, Ricardo Calafiori. Not heard much about him, but obviously, you hear people with international tournaments, they have a good tournament, they get signed for a stupid amount of money, they don't do so well. We've seen it done multiple times before. I think it's just going to be another one of those. And obviously making Raya a permanent. With Michael Merino, I do think he offers something different. He kind of does that same Jorginho thing, but he's just 10 times as better. Just a lot more of that all-round number 8. Sure, they're looking for to maybe do like a double 8 and a 10. Obviously with Rice, Merino and Odegaard, but unfortunately he got injured off the bat. The Raheem Sterling loan, not too sure about. I don't really know what's going on there. Don't know why they would do it, but they've done it nonetheless. And the outs are all outs that should have been made, a long time ago, in my opinion. Not necessarily Ramsdale for 15 million, but Nketiah to Crystal Palace. I think that should have been done a long time ago. And Smith Rowe leaving the club, finally. The Croydon De Bruyne for £27 million to Fulham, where he will be the main man, but I'll obviously get into that a bit later. The Raheem Sterling look, I do not get. This whole, he's been treated so badly at Chelsea, and now he's got an opportunity to offer something different because he can play across, obviously, all three. So it'd be interesting to see where he kind of falls in. But I've given Arsenal's transfer window a B. They've done the business that they need to. They've not really grabbed a striker, which is what they needed to. Yes, Sterling can play that, but he's not an out-and-out number 9, which is what I think they're going to get tripped up on again this season. But yeah, give them a B. Next, we've got Aston Villa. Their ins consist of Amadou Onana for £51 million. Jadon Philogene, whatever his name is, £40 million. I don't know much about him, from Juve. Cameron Archer, I believe he's gone out again, but yeah, he's on my out. So yeah, Cameron Archer. Ins, Ian Maatsen, Champions League quality player, obviously playing for Dortmund last season, previously played for Chelsea, so that would be a good sign. Obviously you've got Alex Moreno, who is aging, but I think we'll get into him because he has left. Morgan Rogers, who I believe is, a good attacking output for them. He played well against Arsenal. He was their main man in that game, but the outs are... You got the likes of Alex Moreno on loan to Nottingham Forest, I believe. Cameron Archer to Sheffield United. Diaby to Saudi Arabia for... hello. They all kind of blend into one. And you got Callum Chambers, I believe, going to Cardiff City on a free. And then obviously Douglas Luiz going to Juve. You obviously got the Diaby and the Douglas Luiz outs, which are going to be quite, important for them. But they've just replaced them. Ian Maatsen. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying about Ian Maatsen. Ian Maatsen replaces Alex Moreno. Amadou Onana replaces Douglas Luiz. Rogers replaces Diaby. So it's all kind of, nothing's really going to change for that one. So I've just done a B. Bournemouth next. We've got Kepa on loan from Chelsea. Don't know. I think Kepa is obviously a bad keeper, but they needed to replace the loss of Neto for the season, so I can see why they've done it. Then you've got Everlinson for £30 million. Araujo right back, £8.6 million, and Sinisterra on a full. He was on loan last season, out, I believe. Don't quote me on it. Then you got Solanke out for £60 million, and I think to replace Solanke, who gets like you got like 16 to 18 goals a season last season, to Everton for £30 million, a European quality player for Bournemouth, I think is good business. I say good business done. And obviously they lost Lloyd Kelly on a free to Newcastle. Next we've got Brighton. Brighton's transfers, I do not get them because they just pick people out of nowhere from strange places. I could not tell you a single thing about any of these players who have come in, but they spent £200 million this summer on just players that I've never heard of. Obviously, you've heard of Rutter for Leeds United for £40 million, Minto, Newcastle and Feyenoord. It's going to be interesting. You know, they've done business smartly. You know, they've let go of Dahoud, Billy Gilmore to Napoli, Undav for £23 million, Gross, who, you know, so, I've given Brighton an A. Brentford, where do we start with Brentford? They've not done too well. They've signed Carvalho. They've signed Carvalho and Thiago to replace Tony. Vandenberg and Carvalho obviously from Liverpool, 26 mil respectively. Lost Tony for 36, lost Raya for 27. Not looking good. They've not really replaced Tony with the striker that they need, so I've given them an E. Next we've got Chelsea. Next you've got Chelsea, and Chelsea's done a lot of work again. Lots of players coming in, lots of players going out. It's a whole lot of mess down there. The ins consist of like Jadon Sancho on loan, João Felix for £43 million, Pedro Neto for 52, Dewsbury Hall for 30, Mark Guéhi for 5 mil, and Tosin Adarabioyo on a free. Those are the main ones. Obviously there's a gazillion others, but the rest of them have gone out on loan again, so there's no point adding them in. Outs, you've got Angelo for 20 mil, Chalobah on loan to Palace, Sterling on loan to Arsenal, Petrovic on loan to somebody else, Lukaku to Napoli, Gallagher to Atletico Madrid, and Lewis Hall to Forest, I believe. Ian Matson to Aston Villa, and Thiago Silva to Brazil on a free, heading towards retirement for him. They've just done so much work again, so many players coming in, so many players going out. It's the changing. It just doesn't make any sense to me at the moment, especially not the Jadon Sancho one. The Felix is good. Pedro Neto, despite him being injury prone, he's an exceptional young attacking option. Dewsbury Hall, don't get it. He's not going to play. You say he's just a Gallagher replacement. Does the same stuff, But where's he going to play? Enzo, Caicedo, and you're going to play Palmer as a 10, and you've got other options in that midfield. Where does he fall into it? Where's he going to play? I don't know. I've given him a C because it's just a whole lot of pointless transfers that didn't really need to be made. It's just shite, really, Next we've got Crystal Palace. They've signed Maxence Lacroix for £60 million, Ismaili Sarr for 13, Kamada from Lazio for 3, and Nketiah from Arsenal for £26 million. And they've also lost a few big players in Edouard on a loan, Johnson for £10 million, I believe to Wolves, don't quote me on it, Ayew for £5 million, and Anderson to Fulham for £30 million, which is just a whole lot of sideways moves at this point. I've given them a C, And obviously they've lost Elise, so they're going to not do so well this season, not as well as they did last season, because Ismaili Sarr isn't as good as Elise is, and Eze's not going to be as good without Elise. You get what I mean? Everton, another shocking transfer window, really. Their hands are tied behind their backs with, all this financial fair play shite, and building a stadium, they don't really have the finances to go out and spend big money. But they bought in Jesper Lindstrom for £2 million, and Dye from Marseille, who previously played for Sheffield United and didn't do so well when he played for Marseille. And they've also copped Broja on a loan because their attacking output has been shocking over the last 4 seasons. They've not really had that prolific number 9. with Mopay going out on loan again and obviously losing Onana to Villa, giving them a D. Bog standard. I would have given them lower, but I had to kind of ease in, context to why they haven't really done as many transfers as they should have. Fulham's ins, you've got Reece Nelson on loan, Anderson, which you just spoke about, Sanderberg for £20 million, solid. He's not a replacement for Palhinha, but he's not a like for like as such. He's just somebody who does the job in the same position and does it to a Fulham standard. And you've got Emile Smith-Rowe, who is going to be a main man. He's going to be the guy at Fulham. Obviously, you've got Alex Iwobi in there as well to kind of Harry Wilson to spread those playmaking opportunities with, but he's going to be the main man. The outs, you're looking at just retiring, aging players like Willian, Tim Ream, Palhinha obviously lost to Bayern Munich, Bobby Reid to Leicester, and obviously tossing Adebayor to Chelsea. Giving them a B. They're a mid-table team and they've pulled in some, top players from teams. It's really, so, you can't really hate on it, really, can you? Next, we have got Ipswich, newly promoted team. Hopefully, we can see a bit more from them than we did from Luton. But obviously, their first games like Liverpool and Man City, they didn't really have the opportunity to show their skills. I don't even know any of these players, I'll be honest with you. But signing Schmodix from Blackburn, top goal scorer last season, £10 million, does the job. Calvin Phillips on loan, washed, don't know what you'd want him. Muric from Burnley, £8 million, and Liam Delap for £15 million from Man City. It's a good window. It's a very good window considering Ipswich's context. So I've given them an A. I've not even put the outs on it because I don't know who they are. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to try and speak about things I don't really know. Anyway, next we've got Leicester. Obviously signing Edouard on loan. Al Khamas for £18 million. Oliver Skip for 20. What a waste of 20 quid. 20 million euros, sorry. Muan Mati from Brighton on loan, which would be good for both him and Leicester as an attacking output to just stay up. They just need everyone just to help them stay up because they're the most likely team to go down, I believe. Next, you got Fatawu for £15 million. Don't know much about him, but when I watched him against Spurs, I thought he was, good on the ball. He, showed some skill. Outs are detrimental, in my opinion. Obviously, losing Kennedy, Dewsbury Hall, Ian Acho, Albrighton, Dennis Pratt, Luke Thomas on loan. It's just a sham. Those are all squad players that you need just when your players are getting tired and shit. Giving them an E. Not that impressed. Liverpool, you got Federico Chiesa, sorry, my bad, for £11 million, and Mamadash, the guy from the Spanish team, the goalie, to replace Alisson, but he's gone out on loan again, so we'll kind of speak about him probably next season when he's back at Liverpool. Next, we've got Bobby Clark for £10 million gone, Carvalho gone, Adrian gone, Thiago gone, Matip gone. Giving them a C. They didn't really do a lot. It was a bit of a stalemate because they were looking for that centre CDM, didn't quite get him. So halted out and then just brought a few people, but they didn't really do much this window. I was a bit disappointed. Man City, also a bit disappointed. I'll be honest with you. Savinho for £25 million and a Gundogan back on a free. Gundogan signing is probably one of the better ones despite it being a free because they really not missed him, but he's an exceptional player for Man City. We've seen it time and time again, clutch winner, ability on the ball, ability off the ball. It's dangerous. Outs, you've got Alvarez to Atletico Madrid for £80 million, which is obviously, again, one of those signs where the sales of Man City miraculously make £100 million and then just don't speak about it again. Cancelo as well, and Harwood Bellis to Southampton. Cancelo's gone to Saudi Arabia, I believe. Just another shocking sale. Man United, where do we start? Where do we start with Man United, mind? He is Man United signing Lenny Yoro for £62 million, Ugarte from PSG for 50, De Ligt from Bayern Munich for 45, Xerxes from Bologna for £42 million, and Mazraoui from Bayern for £15 million. Good signings. Yeah, there was problems, the aging defence, the leaking amount of goals that they concede has been fixed by obviously having De Ligt, Mazraoui, Yoro's obviously a bit more for the future, but those are young signings, young profiles, 25, 23. Obviously, Yoro's like 18, 19, I think. He's a young one. Xerxes, again, a young player. Like the age profile for signings has just dropped down a bit. Ugarte, exceptional midfielder for PSG, now making his move to United. He's just going to solve all their problems because he's a lot better than McTominay, who they've sold, alongside Greenwood, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Sancho, and Martial. Obviously, Sancho was on a loan, but the Wan-Bissaka money went to West Ham. Greenwood obviously going to Marseille after being on loan last season. Giving it a B, it's a good transfer window. It's one of their better ones over the last 5 years. So you just got to give it the praise, give it a B. Newcastle, Vlachodimos from Forest, Osula from Sheffield United. He played for Sheffield United at some point. £11 million. Grand Coal, he'll probably go out on loan again. He always does. He comes and goes. Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth. It's a good set of ins. Not what you'd expect for a team that's fighting in the top 6, would you? A Vlachodimos signing a goalkeeper from the bottom side of the Premier League. It doesn't seem smart to be doing that. They should be aiming for the more higher profiles. They should have probably tried to get the young ones from Arsenal and teams like that. But they haven't. They've just gone with players on the bottom side of the league, and I don't know why. Next we've got, they're out. Anderson to Forest. Elliot Anderson. Matt Ritchie buggering off on a free. And then Jamal Lewis, gone to Brazil on a loan. Given an E, it's poor. It's poor for a European fighting team. It's a poor window. Next we've got Nottingham Forest. Their ins are Milinkovic for £15 million. Carmo for £11 million. The Moreno on loan. And just a whole lot of outs. Their Steve Cooper sign every player you can see is kind of backfire on them as they've all just gone. And they're going to be in that relegation scrap because of it. Hopefully not. Would you like a bit of a different team in the Premier League? Hopefully they don't go. But I've given it an E as well. Not that strong. It's a poor window. Next we've got Spurs signing Solanke from Bournemouth, Archie Gray from Leeds, Odobert from Burnley, and Bergvall from some Scandinavian place. Good signings. They've been they're going to be strong this season, especially with Solanke, because he's so much better than Richarlison in terms of that finishing ability. So much better than bloody shitty Richarlison. I don't see Archie Gray can play centre mid, he can play right back. I can see him probably playing more of that right back role when Pedro Porro needs a rest or something. And out, Oliver Skipp, who spoke about him before, Emerson Royale to AC Milan, and the Salso somewhere else. Giving it a B. It's a good window. It's a good window for Spurs, making a statement that they're going to be we're on top now. Nothing you can say about it. And the team, I quite like their signings. I quite like what West Ham have done. Signing Max Kilman from Wolves for £48 million, Somerville from Leeds for £30 million, Falkirk from Dortmund for 30, Soler from PSG on loan, and Tadiva from Nice on loan. I think those are good European statement transfers. I like Kilman. I like Somerville. He's young. He's attacking. He's different. He's quick on the ball. Falkirk, I like his finishing style. I do think, they need something like that because of Antonio and Ings or whatever that they've got up front. They're aging. They're dying. So old. Their outs have been Ben Rama, to France, Zuma on loan, Ogbonna on loan, and Ben Johnson on loan, which I don't get. Why you sell your put your captain on loan, Ogbonna as well, another agent, but obviously they've replaced them well. But I've given them a C. I like the signings, but I don't like the outs. You know, they should have kept Zuma at all costs, really. And Wolves, D. I've literally not put anything on them, but they've signed a striker, which I'm looking forward to seeing more from him. I think Wolves have had a bad window, obviously losing Pedro Neto. Yes, he may be injury prone, but he was significant to them, and they've lost him. But anyway, hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you lot in a bit. Peace.